Hello everybody and welcome to the third and final part of the Costume Quest 1 80% Beginner Speedrun Guide. It's going to be going over the third section of the game, which is Autumn Valley, and also probably the most difficult section of the game, because the two boss fights right at the end, Dorsilla and Big Bones, are quite tough. Fortunately, we developed some strategies to make it somewhat easy, but you can still get screwed over by RNG, and the mistakes are a bit punishing. Could just end up losing a fight because of a misplay, and of course we don't want that to happen. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the run. So first off, we're stuck in a cage here. We're just gonna run forward, hit the part of the cage and hit the sign as well. Bash through cutscene and some text. And for right now, we're just trying to get our costumes back. There's nothing else we can really do. We want to just optimize this to be as quick as possible, do as little as we can. Because of course we're running around real slow without our robot costume. So we'll just run up, talk to that guy. He'll give us the Fry costume. Run all the way back. A little optimization here when you get to the Crest Whalers up here is you can lure them both into the right door of the barn. And that'll be a little bit quicker. You're a little bit closer. Make sure you also, move out a little bit so Crest Whaler doesn't get stuck behind the door. And now we have our costumes. Okay, so we're gonna switch to Robot, Space Warrior, and Ninja, just like we were previously. These are our cards right now. We're going to switch to Screaming Spider for the first card, or for the first couple battles. Run down here, grab that. Gonna begin the hide and seek kids in this part of the game. Run over here, grab the second one. Run over here, and then we're gonna start trick-or-treating. These first two houses both going to give us candy. And the third house, right here, give me an actual battle. Just like normal, focus the guy with the least amount of health. I'm not going to be scaring you. There we go, first try. Very good fights. And we'll keep that. Keep the Screaming Spider stamps. We're going to be using that for this battle as well. So focus one of the two enemies with 290 health. Scare the other guy. Bruiser in the middle. Another first try. There we go. Easy as that. Just be lucky. Continue to focus this guy. We'll be dead here. Like that, the fight's over. Go to the next one. Now we're going to switch to Pumpkin Guts. Don't need Screaming Spider anymore until we get into the Carnival itself. We don't really want to deal with Screaming Spider when we have to take out these healers and other enemies. Use our specials. We're gonna move on to the next one. Yeah, this whole trick-or-treating section here, not really anything per route. They're all pretty quick fights. They're all right next to each other. Is that fight done? And that's the last one for this area. And then we're going to switch to the Fry costume. We're going to lure all the kids over to the Fry vendor. 3 of them in total. It's very slow, but kind of need to do. This will get skipped, though, in the advanced route, which is nice. This whole endgame section is so broken. Remember to be switching to robot in between luring all of the kids. You move faster when you're going to get them. Now we're completely done with the area outside of the carnival. Switch to robot. Run all the way up here. Talk to this kid. That's our third hide and seek kid. Talk to this guy. Get in, and then we start the carnival. Okay, then we're gonna switch to Screaming Spider. And keep same setup we got here for this fight. Here. Another first try, there we go. 40% chances in a row. We don't need to use Ninja's special because it doesn't do any damage. We don't really care about that. Now that we have that, we're gonna run down here. And then before we talk to this house, back to Pumpkin Guts. We don't forget, talk to this kid. And then run up here, talk to this house. I'm gonna focus the Shaman healer. At this point we're level 7, so we're actually doing a good amount of damage per hit, which is really nice. And we just use our specials here. And there we go. Run over to this house. And before going into this fight, we're going to switch to Screaming Spider. Normally we wouldn't use Screaming Spider on a fight that has a medic, but we'll be able to take it out with just the first 2 heroes, so it'll be good. And if it does, because of damage rolls or whatever, if it doesn't die, then we can just do a quick attack with Ninja. It's not that big of a deal. Sometimes you can tell if it fails before it actually has no effect, just because normally it'll actually show you pretty quickly them running away. Like there, that last one I could tell failed just because of the time we were still looking at Ninja. Nice, and we run over here, do the same thing. See, in this scenario, the Shaman didn't die, because that damage rolls. That's alright. We're just gonna go ahead and attack the assassin. Scale to air, scale. I hate English well. I really hope this year, I really lose my time, that's a fail, unfortunately. You get to spam for your attacks here. Just a bit unlucky with RNG here. I don't know what you could have done about that. And we're gonna run over here. Switch back to Pumpkin Guts. Ninja sneak past. We'll focus the monk. I'm gonna be gone in 1 turn. Very nice. And just skip through cutscene, all that stuff really quick. And now we're gonna switch to Screaming Spider. The last house that we have to fight. Okay, one more house after this, but that'll just give us some candy. First res here, very, very nice. But we only have one more fight in the game after this. We Here's a boss fight as well, but no more regular enemies to fight after this and one more. There we go, now we have the gate cutscene playing. And we're gonna go run over here. Talk to this kid. Our 5th hide and seek. Run over here. Talk to the pumpkin scarecrow that's gonna give us the pumpkin costume. Back to robot, talk to this kid. It's the last hide and seek. Do a bit more damage now. Gonna run in here. This is a maze. We've got to go into 3 different sections here to get some costume pieces. This can be a bit annoying, having to dodge these crest whalers that are all running around, but if you just run and don't hesitate, then it should go alright for you. And in any case, if you do get caught, it's not too bad of a time loss. There we go. Follow my path exactly. Fastest route. One more area to go in, right down here. One more crest whaler that could possibly be in the way. Not over here. And that's the Grubbin mask. Okay, so back to robot. Use the Grubbin mask to talk to this guy. And we're gonna switch. It's gonna be robot, pumpkin, space warrior. We're gonna switch our stamps around a little bit. I'm gonna put screaming spider first, and bloodshot eyeballs last. We're essentially just gonna switch, and we're gonna actually fight this guy. We're gonna scare the spear master. He has the most amount of health. Got it first try, very nice. And then focus them on. Now we have pumpkin here. We're gonna actually be using him for the boss fights. He does a lot of damage. His special's really, really good. Unsurprisingly, the monk healed itself. That is okay. Expected that. Might have been critical health there. Might have just been fairly above it. A bit close. Probably take it out right here anyway. And that's gonna give us really the last XP we're gonna need to fight the final bosses at a good level. Run down here before we go past this bush right here. I'm gonna switch up your cards a little bit. Your stamps, rather. And it's gonna be eyeballs, jawbone, and fang. Then we'll go and fight Metxel. It's gonna be the same setup as well. With our costumes, we got robot, pumpkin, and space warrior. So now we get to start the Metxel fight. The second one is also the 3rd to last boss fight of the run. First of the 3 boss rushes. First of 3 in the boss rush, I mean. Gotta sit here and wait. It's about 30 seconds where Metxel is just slowly approaching. Quite interesting. Metxel in this phase, or in this fight, is a lot easier than the first one. Not necessarily that he was difficult in the first one, but it's just so quick. He didn't have his charge up attack or anything, he's just a worse version of his previous fight. We just attack like normal. This is essentially just a regular enemy with 1,000 health. Nothing you really have to worry about or nuance or anything. What's really nice about Pumpkin is that with his special, it doesn't have a set amount of damage. There's a max that it can do, but his special is actually based off of half of the health of the enemy you're facing. So right here, he's going to do 111 damage. Or 100 sometimes rounds now. Yeah, 111 damage. A lot of damage in a boss fight with more health, like in Dorsilla, something like that. That's going to be the end of that boss fight. Now we have 2 more boss fights left in the run, and that is it. Unfortunately, they're the 2 most difficult fights in the run by a long shot. So I'm going to have to explain everything we need to do. So first off, our setup is going to be Unicorn, Knight, and Pumpkin. This is going to be the same for both fights. For this first fight, we got Egg in the 3rd slot. We'll have extra health, the Flying Tombstone in the 1st slot, and in the 2nd slot we will have Bloodshot Eyeballs. Before we get into the actual Dorsilla fight, I've got a couple things to explain so you actually know what you're getting yourself into before you start the fight. There's 4 different things that Dorsilla can do on any given turn. First one is just a normal attack. She'll hit you, do some damage. It's a bit inconsistent how much damage it can do. It can do really anywhere from like 10 to 50 damage, really. So You can kind of just hope for good damage rolls. You've got Unicorn, so if you do take a lot of damage, it's not the end of the world. You also have Knight as well, so you can prevent how much damage you're going to take. The second attack that she can do is stealing one of your characters and putting them in a vine cage. Now, this cage, whoever's in there can't do anything, so you have to focus on getting them out as quickly as you can. They'll take damage over time, and of course, they can't attack, so it's just going to decrease your damage output. So you just focus on getting them out as quick as possible. The third thing that she can do is charge up her special attack. Now, this is why we have the egg stamp equipped. The charge up attack is actually quite lenient. When she first does it, you have 3 full turns to use your egg stamp on her to distract her, and that'll cancel out the attack. So basically, you have 2 turns that you can just ignore her, and she'll just keep charging up. And then on the third turn, you'll have to use it or she'll hit you with it. When she does it for the second time, you'll have 2 turns. So you can ignore her 1 turn and then use it on the second. And then if she does it a third time, then you have to use it that same turn. You can't ignore her at all. And you can't really ignore using the egg card on her just because of how much damage she does. That can really ruin the fight for you if you don't pay attention. You just gotta count how many turns you've gone through before she's used it. You don't want to accidentally not use it when you don't really have a reason. And the fourth thing that Dorsilla can do is clone herself. That means you'll essentially be fighting 3 Dorsillas at the same time. And the speed of the entire Dorsilla fight really depends on how late she does this in the fight. Because whenever she clones herself, then you're going to have 3 things hitting you, and that's just going to waste a lot of time. So to combat this, what you want to do is actually take out one of the clones. You can tell which one a clone is based off of the amount of damage it takes when you hit it. So you'll hit it once, it might take like 4 or 5, even 600 damage, and the regular Dorsilla is going to take about 100. So you want to take out one clone and then leave the other one alive. We leave one clone alive because that limits what Dorsilla can do the rest of the fight. She can't spawn any more clones as long as at least one is still alive, and she can't steal a character and put them in the cage. So the only thing she can do is attack normally and then charge up her special attack. And the clone can only attack, it can't do anything else. So the general strategy for this fight is do as much damage as you can, delay distracting her with egg as long as you can, take out one of the clones as soon as it appears, leave the other one, and then just attack the real Dorsilla until the fight's over. Okay, now that we're done explaining that, just one more thing to go over before we start the fight. The general strategy you want to have in this fight is to keep Unicorn alive at all costs. Because Unicorn's special ability allows you to heal and revive somebody, then that'll keep you going in this fight forever, as long as Unicorn stays alive. So that's why we have Knight, because Knight's ability allows you to shield somebody. So typically we're going to be shielding Unicorn. Not always. A lot of times we won't even be using Unicorn or Knight's special, just because you don't really need to use it that much in this fight. Big Bones is a different story, but in this fight you really need to use it. So we're going to be focused on healing when needed, making sure Unicorn stays alive, whether that is healing Unicorn with herself or by shielding her. Be very careful to keep her alive. See what Dorsilla does here. She likes to use cage a lot at the start of the fight. There we go, there's the cage. Quite slow. It's also a bit annoying, because sometimes you won't do enough damage to actually take out the cage, so then you have to wait another turn. It all depends on damage rolls. Like, see, we're sitting at 2 health here. A bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. So you want to be very careful to keep Unicorn alive, like I said. So make sure Unicorn is always at about 100 health. No less than that. If it's less than that, then you either heal or shield her. Okay, so now Dorsilla's charging up her attack. And this first turn that I've used here, that's the first time I ignored her. So we can ignore her again. So that'll be ignoring her on this turn. But then on the next turn, we have to hit her with the rotten egg. Alright, it's just a regular egg, not rotten egg. This is the second ignore. It's actually very fortunate that she's charging up before spawning in any of the clones. because then we just get to do a bunch of damage to her. So now we're going to use the egg here. That's going to distract her. And now she's got her clones out. So now we're going to just focus on one to take it out. That was the real one. So we know which one's the real Dorsilla. So we're going to focus this one in the middle, just because that's the next one. There's no real reason. I'm going to use my special here. Won't do a ton of damage, but it'll still damage regular Dorsilla like we want to. Okay, Knight's pretty low, so we're going to go and heal him. I'm going to keep him alive. But the Unicorn's good for. And Unicorn is still at pretty high health, so we don't really have to worry about Unicorn potentially dying. And if she does get in that position, then we can always just shield with Knight. Because his special is ready, and it's just could be used at any time that we need to. And right there, we take out the fake Dorsilla, and now we don't touch the other clone. Just attack the normal, regular, real Dorsilla until the fight is over. Eventually here, she's probably going to charge up again, I would imagine. But other than that, this fight is just going to be normal until we get done. Just normal hits and all that kind of stuff. We can't use the cage. No more clones that she can make. Nothing like that. Okay, we're gonna heal Unicorn again. And because Unicorn's gonna be at full health, I'm gonna go ahead and use Knight's special on Pumpkin just because he's so low. Keep him alive for a little bit longer. Just because his special does so much damage, we really want to make sure he survives. Okay, now she's charging up. Another thing is, if Pumpkin does manage to die and she starts charging up, we would just lose the fight. Because he's the one with the stamp. Okay, so this is the first ignore. Because this is her second time, we cannot ignore here. And we'll just attack normally with these guys. And then I have to use the stamp here, the egg. Otherwise we would lose. Health's getting a little low. We're going to go and heal Pumpkin. This is special. Needs to stay. Does quite a bit of damage. And just also for more safety, we're going to go and heal Knight as well. Not heal, but shield. That's what I meant. We're almost there. If Unicorn dies at this point, we'll probably be okay. Just because she's so low. 230 damage. Yeah, we kind of always hope for whoever has the shield to get hit the most, because they'll take less damage. It should be the end of the fight here. Very good, Dorsilla is dead. Very nice. And we're gonna hit level 8 as well. So, now we need to change up our strategy just a little bit, because Big Bones is more difficult of a fight, and it can go a lot more wrong than Dorsilla can. So, let's change up our stamps. Our party's going to stay the exact same. We'll change up our stamps. We got No-Eyed Vampire Bat from defeating Dorsilla, so we're going to put that in the first slot. We're going to put Flying Tombstone in the second slot. And then we're going to put this Banshee stamp in the third slot. And what I guess I'll explain what all the cards, or all the stamps do. The No-Eyed Vampire Bat gives you health every single turn. So at the start of your turn, you're going to do... it's a percentage of your health, but you're essentially going to get up, health every turn. Flying Tombstone increases your health by 50%. Pretty self-explanatory. And then Banshee. So after you die, then you wait one turn, and then after that, you'll self-revive yourself. Obviously it can't work forever. If there's nobody else alive, you just lose the fight. Doesn't matter if you've got this stamp or not. But it is very helpful in the last section, because Big Bones' second phase is quite difficult. To get into the actual Big Bones fight, the strategy is essentially the same as your strategy for Dorsilla, but just more of it. The general strategy is use Unicorn's special every chance you get, and use Knight's shield every chance you get. You're pretty much going to be spamming your specials every opportunity, every time they're available, for the most part, and that's how you're going to stay alive. I will explain a little bit once we actually get in the fight, but you're going to spam them with some exceptions. And then the way the fight works is that there's 2 phases of Big Bones. First phase, he does a lot of damage, stuff like that. It's not actually any different than any other fight. But once he gets to the second phase, he's going to double his damage, and it's going to make it really, really difficult to survive. Which is why we need Unicorn and Knight. Because the way we're able to survive this fight so easily with these strategies is because Unicorn will end up healing and reviving Knight when he dies. And then after that, Knight will immediately use his special on Unicorn to shield her. So she might take a little bit of damage, but she has that health recovery stamp. And when she uses that, then when the Knight's shield runs out, she should be back at full health. And then Pumpkin, we kind of just ignore. And then when Pumpkin dies, he's eventually going to revive himself, and his special will be ready. So you'll be able to do 400-ish damage to Big Bones when he's in his second phase, which at that point is a full third of his health. So that's really going to help you survive and speed up the fight a lot. But without further ado, it is time to go and get into the fight. So I said earlier that you spam all your specials with some exceptions. The main exception is when you first use your Unicorn special. Because when you're going into the second phase of Big Bones, that's going to start at 1200 health. Once he hits 1200 health, you're going to want to use... You're going to go into the second phase. And at that point, you're going to want to have both of your Unicorn and Knight special ready in the same turn. But at the start of the fight, you have Unicorn special is used slightly later, and that's because of Big Bones' special attack. So right here, I could use my special ability here with Unicorn, but there's no real need to. I could potentially use it on Pumpkin, but like I said, I don't really need to. Go ahead and shield Unicorn. Every single opportunity you get, you're going to shield Unicorn no matter what. So, let me go and just move into this. So now, there's a chance that Big Bones uses his special here. He didn't, so that means he's going to use it his next turn. So we're going to, again, not use Unicorn special. And what we're going to have to do at some point is we will need to delay the use of Unicorn special one more turn. Let's see, he's going to use a special here. And that's actually quite fortunate. So we don't need to use it at all. We'll go ahead and delay it one turn immediately. And the reason for this is because you need to line up Unicorn and Knight specials to be on the same turn. So because they're not used at the same point at the start, you've got to kind of delay it. So now we're going to go ahead and use it on Pumpkin, keep him alive. And because Unicorn got hit by Big Bones' special, then she didn't take that much damage, so we didn't need to heal anybody that specific moment. Still doing fine. Unicorn got hit again. That's quite fortunate. I don't necessarily need to use it next turn, but I'm going to anyway. Also, Pumpkin might be low if he gets hit again. We'll see who gets hit. It's Knight. Yeah, we'll go and use it on Knight. Just because. It doesn't really matter if Pumpkin dies. But Knight dying could potentially cause problems. Again, you just use Knight special every turn you get. Pumpkin special. This is might put him at second phase. No, very close though. Okay, now he's into his second phase. This is where it starts to get difficult. Things start to suck because he does so much damage. But if you keep, if you're stuck in the cycle of Unicorn uses special on Knight and Knight shields Unicorn, then you will be okay. Pumpkin is probably gonna die here. It's a bit slow, but like I said, it's not a big deal. Unicorn and, or sorry, Pumpkin survived. Okay, we're gonna just go ahead and just heal Unicorn right now. Like I said, if she dies, you lose the fight. So we do not want to take any risks. And shield her as well. And we're going to use Pumpkin special. Uses his special, and Knight is dead. Not great, but we can manage this. Pumpkin's also dead now. Yeah, it isn't great here, but we will just barely survive. She'll be able to survive that hit. And then we win. There it is, there's Big Bones. Could be a bad fight, but you know, it's not that bad. And that is the end of the Costume Course 1 80% beginner tutorial. So in the next couple days, I will have an advanced tutorial come out. That's going to be going over World 1 skip, Gate skip, Fry skip, and you know, everything that comes with the advanced route by skipping those things. What kind of fights you need to skip in addition to those. How to fight Big Bones and Dorsilla at level 6, and all those things like that. So that, like I said, that'll be coming out in the next couple days. I'm going to have input display on the tricks as well. If that's already out, then that'll be in the link in the description, in the playlist with all the other guides. Thanks for watching the whole beginner guide. Put a lot of effort into running this game, and I hope you guys will enjoy running this game as well. And hopefully you can get something like a 1 hour, 19-minute time with this. You know, anything in the 1x range. The world record for this route was a 1:15. So that could be close to a goal that you might want to get before switching over to the advanced route, or maybe you might want to do that earlier. Really just depends on what you're trying to achieve in this game. But hopefully this was a good way to introduce you into the game, get you to know the route. There is also an actual route document that I'll have in the description as well, in case you can't remember everything and need to look at it mid-run. But other than that, good luck with your speedrunning and have fun.